Welcome to Listen and Sleep. Find a comfortable position. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath slow down. There is nowhere you need to be right now. Nothing to do but listen. Nothing but be here. Tonight, we travel to India, into its depths, where tourist routes never reach, to places where evenings smell of burning ghee and wet earth, where little bells ring not for decoration, but because there is no other way. There, at the foot of a hill, stands a temple, small, nearly nameless, but alive the way only things are alive that thousands of hands have touched, day after day, year after year, century after century. This is the story of Hanuman, the most mysterious being in the entire Indian pantheon, the one who could move a mountain, and did, who could leap across an ocean, and did, who could have become a king, a god, a ruler of worlds, and who chose instead to become a servant. Why? That is the question at the beginning of this path, and the answer will appear somewhere you do not expect. Evening in the Indian countryside does not arrive all at once. It creeps in slowly, like a cat. First the light thickens, turning gold, almost orange. Then shadows stretch out and fall across the road. Then the air begins to smell different. Earth, smoke, jasmine used to garland the gods. At the temple entrance sits a woman selling flower garlands. The flowers are yellow and orange, the colors of Hanuman, the colors of fire and saffron. She strings them without thinking, her hands working on their own, while her eyes look somewhere far away. A boy stands beside her, holding a coconut. He is waiting for his grandfather to finish his prayer. Inside the temple, it is dark and warm, like someone's cupped palm. In the corner, burn oil lamps, 3, 5, 7 small flames, and their light falls on that figure against the back wall. Hanuman, tall, orange, tail arching above his head like a question mark. His face is neither human nor monkey, but something third, something for which there is no word in ordinary language. One eye looks forward, the other looks inward. In one hand, a mountain, an entire mountain resting in his palm like an apple. In the other, a mace, but not threatening, more like tired, more like leaning on it. A pilgrim enters, an elderly woman in a sari the color of turmeric. She walks slowly, not because she is tired, but because that is how you walk toward someone you love. She reaches the figure and lowers herself to her knees without effort, as though the earth itself draws her down. Her forehead touches the floor. Her lips move. A name, just a name, again and again. Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman. The little bell at the entrance rings in the wind. No one touched it. The wind simply came, swayed it, and the temple rang. Perhaps that is coincidence. Perhaps just a draft. Or perhaps Vayu, the god of wind and father of Hanuman, still moves through the world and slips into places where his son's name is spoken. Think about who Hanuman is in this small temple, in this village where nothing extraordinary ever happens. He is not decoration here, not a museum display. He is a presence. Warriors come to him to gather strength. Students come before exams. Those in love come when love seems impossible. And those afraid of the dark come simply because he is afraid of nothing. One figure, one temple, hundreds of millions of people who speak his name every morning. In India, in Nepal, in Indonesia, in the Caribbean, where descendants of those who crossed the oceans carried his image with them. In wrestling gyms, in truck cabs, on the wristbands of fighters. How did this happen? How did a being born of wind and a monkey become someone worshipped across every layer of society, every age, every kind of need? And the deepest question, the one that gives no rest, why did the one who was stronger than all others, who could have become anything and taken everything, choose to take nothing? Why did true, impossible, mountain-moving strength bow its head before someone else? The stone figure is silent. The lamps flicker. The old woman rises from her knees, touches her hand to her heart, and walks out into the dark. And the wind sways the little bell again. But to understand this paradox, we must go back, much further than the battle everyone knows, further than the meeting with Rama in the forest. It all began long before that, on a different peak, in a different forest, with a mother who prayed to the wind. Her name was Anjana. Long ago, she had been an apsara, a celestial nymph born in radiance. It is said, apsaras dance where sky touches water. Their movement is like light on a river's surface, light, shifting, perfect. But Anjana angered one of the sages. The legends stay silent about the details, as they stay silent about many mistakes that are difficult to put into words. The curse was simple and cruel. She became a monkey. She descended from the heavens. She found herself in the forests of Anjanagiri, a mountain that would later be named after her. Wind in those hills never stills. It comes from the north, where snow rests on stone year-round. It flows through ravines, rustles leaves, touches the grass on the slopes. Even on the hottest day, it stays cool there. Anjana lived on the summit, alone, for years. What she wanted was not simply a child. She wanted one that people would speak of, one who would change the world, not conquer it, not destroy it, but save it. That kind of desire cannot be explained. It simply lives inside you, like fur in stone, invisible but real. She began tapas, the ancient practice of inner concentration, not suffering for its own sake, but will compressed to a single point, like sunlight through glass. When scattered, it does not burn. Gathered in one place, it burns through. She stood on one leg, arms raised, eyes closed, lips still. Rain came and went. The soft, warm rain of summer, the cold, slanting rain of autumn. She stood. Snow settled on her shoulders, melted from the heat of her skin, fell again. Wind tore at her hair, struck her face, moaned in the stone crevices. She stood. The rocks beneath her feet were sharp, then familiar, then simply rocks. In such a practice, time loses its shape. There are no days or nights in the usual sense, only light, darkness, light again, and a prayer that never stops. Even when the body is silent, something inside keeps sounding, quietly, steadily, like the breath of the earth. The gods hear that kind of silence. The gods, in general, hear stillness more often than words. One day, or perhaps after many years, or perhaps after a single moment stretched into eternity, a wind came to the summit. Not an ordinary gust, something different, warm where it should have been cold, alive where wind simply moves. It was Vayu, god of wind, keeper of breath, the very breath without which no living creature can survive even a moment. He did not come in a form. He did not speak with a voice. He simply entered her as the first breath enters after long silence, gently, inevitably, like a dawn that does not ask permission. The sacred texts say, the wind entered Anjana through her ear, through hearing, through the place where words and music live, where prayers and lullabies live, not through touch, through breath, through sound. She felt warmth, a warmth that had been absent through all the years of standing in the snow. Warmth from within, as if somewhere in the middle of her chest, something small had been kindled, something utterly unquenchable. She opened her eyes. The summit was the same. Stones, sky, wind. But in the air hung a silence of a different kind, not empty, but full, like the pause before the most important sentence. Anjana lowered her arms, settled down onto the stones, and for the first time in years, she wept. Not from pain, from something for which there is no exact word. Perhaps gratitude, perhaps the understanding that her prayer had been heard, that she had not been crying into emptiness. So the child was conceived, child of wind, child of austerity, child of silence and patience, of rain and snow, of sharp stones, and the warm breath of a god. Imagine you are standing on that summit. It is night. The stars are so close, it seems you could touch them. The wind is cold and damp, smelling of distant snow, and something floral rising from the valley below, where trees are in bloom. And in that wind, something alive, something that does not simply move, but breathes. Perhaps that is how those feel who have waited a long time, who did not give up, who stood in the cold while everyone else went inside to get warm, not out of stubbornness, because they knew what they were waiting for. The child was born strong, loud, warm as the sun, despite the cold of the mountain night. Anjana held him, and her hands trembled, not from weakness, but from a feeling that does not fit inside two palms. He looked at her with dark eyes, attentively, as if he already knew something she was only beginning to guess. Then he lifted his head and stared at the sky, not at the mountains, not at the forest, not at his mother, at the sky, up where in the pale before dawn something distant was turning rose-colored and bright, something that would soon rise above the horizon, flood the peaks with light, chase the shadows away. The infant did not yet understand who he was, but his first hunger was not for his mother's milk. It was for that which burns in the sky. He did not yet know his name, did not know who he was, but what burned in the sky called to him. It happens. Something in us reaches toward light before we have time to understand why. The morning came on slowly. The horizon glowed red, as if someone had held an enormous, ripe fruit to the edge of the world. Hanuman lay in his mother's arms, small, warm, breathing. And then he saw it. Above the treetops, the sun was rising, round, orange, giving off the scent of something sweet, the way the earth itself seemed to smell it. The child stared with wide open eyes. In his mind, still without words, without names, without fear, one thought formed. There it is, the ripest mango that ever existed. It hangs up there in the highest place, and no one has yet thought to pick it. Anjana did not have time to act. The child flung out his arms and rose into the air. Not slowly, not uncertainly, like a thrown stone, only upward, like a gust of wind that suddenly finds its strength and surges skyward. Vayu, his father, did not hinder him. The wind carried his son the way a bird's own element carries the bird. Hanuman flew toward the sun, laughing, reaching with his hands, and the world held its breath. In the celestial halls where gods watch the movements of stars and fates, something felt wrong. Surya, god of the sun, saw the child flying toward him and did not know whether to laugh or run. It would have been funny if it had not been so dangerous. Because the child was flying in earnest. Indra, king of the heavens, stood up. The storm clouds around him darkened. He watched the small figure hurling itself toward the light and understood. In another moment, this child would swallow the sun. Swallow it because for him it was simply a fruit, simply breakfast, simply something you could not leave hanging there so close, smelling so sweet. If the sun were extinguished, the world would plunge into eternal darkness. No harvest, no warmth, no breath of life in seeds and rivers. This could not be allowed. Indra raised the vajra, not the lightning that cracks against the earth with noise and smoke. The vajra is a weapon of the gods, a blow after which everything in the world becomes different. He hurled it toward the child, not to kill, but to stop. The blow landed on the jaw. Hanuman fell. He fell from the sky the way a bird falls when a stone strikes it, suddenly, without understanding, without reason. Anjana caught him, or perhaps the wind received him in its arms before he touched the earth. The child lay still. His jaw was broken. That is how the name came. Hanu means jaw. Man means distinguished, marked. The one who was marked. The one whose body carries the story of the first collision between a child's boldness and the power of the gods. Even the strongest was struck down. This matters. It is not simply a story about how a child nearly caused disaster. It is a mark that all who are truly great carry on their bodies. The trace of a blow. The scar. The place where strength first met its limit and held. But at that moment, Vayu was not thinking about name or marks. Vayu saw his son, quiet, broken, and in the god of wind rose what rises in every father when his child is hurt. Not anger, something older, quieter, and more terrible. Vayu left. He did not declare war. He did not raise a storm. He simply left and took with him all the air in the world. Movement vanished from the forests. Breath left the rivers. Birds went silent. People, animals, gods, all began to suffocate at the same moment. Silence became dense, almost tangible, like cloth pressed against the face. The gods felt it first. Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, all the celestial sages came, not with weapons, with gifts. Because there are moments when truth sides not with power, but with love. And then power has no choice but to ask forgiveness. They bent over the child. One by one they spoke, not prayer, but gift. Immunity from weapons, immortality, strength equal to the strength of the gods, the wisdom of Brihaspati, teacher of the heavens. Each brought something of their own. The sun gave light, fire gave heat, wind gave swiftness, death gave its own unreachability. The boy received everything. Vayu returned the air to the world. The leaves rustled again. The birds sang again. The rivers breathed again. But among those who came was one sage. He looked at the child for a long time, thought, and then he added quietly, almost unnoticeably, almost like a sigh, "You will remember your powers only when someone reminds you." Not a curse, not a punishment, simply a condition, simple as a drawn curtain. Behind it, everything the small god among monkeys had just received: strength, wisdom, immortality. But the curtain was drawn. The gods had given him everything, then taken away his memory of it. That would be more convenient for him and for the world. But why? What good is a strength you do not know you have? What good is wisdom when it sleeps? Perhaps because true power should not weigh on the shoulders of the one who carries it. Perhaps because a genuine gift remains itself only when love awakens it, not pride and not fear. The answer to that question would not come soon, but it would come. He grew, the way all children grow, quickly and without notice. The forest around him rustled, the wind played in the branches, and there was something quiet in the way he leaped from tree to tree, not knowing he had no limits. Strength lived in him, not as a burden, but as breath, simply there, simply present. Mountains did not seem heavy to him because he did not know they were heavy. Rivers did not frighten him with their depth because he did not know that creatures drown. That is what happens when you forget your gifts. You live as if you were ordinary. And perhaps that is the strangest of curses, to be extraordinary without knowing it. But one thing was not forgotten: curiosity. It woke in him before everything else. Before he learned to speak every language, before he sensed that his body could move a cliff. Hunger for knowledge is a particular hunger. It is not satisfied by food. It does not pass with tiredness. It only grows when you feed it. And one day, Hanuman looked up, where he had always looked since birth, at what burned, what moved, what never stopped, at Surya, at the god of the sun, who drove his chariot across the sky from dawn to dusk, day after day, century after century, resting not even for a moment. Here is someone who knows everything, thought Hanuman, the one who sees the entire world from a height no one can reach on foot. Here is my teacher. He rose into the air. Without hesitation, without fear, simply flew the way the wind flies when there is nowhere to go but up. He rose to where the air becomes thin and hot, where the clouds remain far below. And he stood before the chariot of the sun god. Surya looked at him without surprise. Gods are rarely surprised, but in his gaze there was something warm, like the first ray of light on a sleeping face. Hanuman asked to be taken on as a student. Surya shook his head, not from cruelty, from honesty. I cannot stop, he said. Such is my path. As long as the world exists, I am in motion. I cannot sit with you under a tree and explain the Vedas. The chariot does not wait for lessons. Hanuman thought for a single moment. Just one moment. Then I will fly before you, he said, facing you. While you move, I listen. While you travel, I learn. No stopping needed. Surya looked at him for a long time, at this small figure, willing to fly backward across the entire sky just to miss not a single word. Something moved in him, not doubt, but something resembling wonder. He accepted, and what began cannot be called ordinary learning. Every morning, when the chariot of Surya set out from the east, Hanuman was already there before it, facing the god, his back to the horizon. He flew without seeing where he was going. He saw only the teacher. He saw only the word that sounded in the hot air above. This required a special skill, not strength, no. He had enough of that. It required something else. Trust. Complete. Without looking back. To fly backward means not knowing what lies behind you. It means entrusting all that space to the one you see in front of you. Humility through motion, not stillness, not a bowed head, but a willingness to fly without knowing where, because you know who you trust. Surya taught him everything. The Vedas, those ancient sounds older than any language that arose before there were ears capable of hearing them. Grammar, how thought is structured when it looks for a body to inhabit. Poetry, how a word becomes more than itself when life is breathed into it. Music, astrology, medicine, the philosophy of every school. Years passed, the chariot traveled, Hanuman flew. He felt no tiredness, not because he was immortal, but because learning did not exhaust him. It fed him. Every new piece of knowledge was like a new breath of air, and air was native to him. Wind was his father. Breath was his element. He became the wisest among the living. Grammarians would later call him the first master of language. Poets would call him the first poet. Philosophers would say he saw through any system of thought. In him came together what usually lives apart: a warrior's body and a scholar's mind, strength that knows what it is doing. When Surya decided the lesson was complete, he stopped Hanuman with a word. Hanuman descended before him, his feet touching the empty air, still warm from the wheels. "You have taught me everything," said Hanuman. "I owe you. What is the payment?" Surya looked at him, at this being who had flown backward for years without once asking to rest, without once doubting. He thought about the payment for a long time. "I have a son," the sun god finally said. "His name is Sugriva. He lives among the Vanaras, among the people of the forest. His life is not an easy one. Stay close to him. Protect him. Be his friend and counselor. Hanuman agreed without thinking, the way one agrees to something simple because the request seemed simple. To protect one person is not much. It is only loyalty. It is only being present. He did not yet know that Sugriva would lose his kingdom and his brother, that a wandering prince would come into the forest with a bow in his hand and grief in his eyes, that this prince would speak Sanskrit so purely, so perfectly, that it would take Hanuman's breath away, that in that moment everything Surya had taught him, everything he carried inside, would lay itself at one pair of feet, not scatter, find its meaning. But then he simply nodded and flew down into the forest to find Sugriva. The student did not know he had been preparing for one encounter, and that everything he had learned would be needed for the sake of one glance. The one who had flown for years before the sun's chariot, who had studied the Vedas in the whisper of a star-lit wind, who had listened to Surya until he himself had become something like a ray of light, now stood in the shadow of trees and looked down. The forest of Kishkinda rustled. Old trees swayed at midday, their branches touching each other slowly, almost like a farewell. The earth here smelled of fallen leaves and something moist, like the breath of the ground after heavy rain. Somewhere in the canopy, a bird called out, then went quiet, then called again. Hanuman heard footsteps from far off. Two men were moving through the forest, and their footfalls were different. One walked with a slight heaviness, the caution of a warrior used to open ground rather than dense undergrowth. The other walked lightly, almost the way wind touches the surface of water. Sugriva was afraid. An exile does not trust unknown footsteps in his forest. He sent Hanuman to find out who these two were, where they had come from, what they were looking for. Go in the form of a Brahmin, he said. Hanuman nodded. He could change his form. He knew how to speak without saying too much. He stepped out to meet them in a clearing. Before him stood two men, both dressed in the rough clothes of wanderers, dusty from the road. One was dark-faced and held a bow as though it were part of his body, not a weapon. The other was fairer, younger, with a face where devotion to his brother was written so plainly it might have been carved in stone. Hanuman bowed, introduced himself, asked who they were and where they were going. And then the first one spoke. Sanskrit poured from his lips the way mountain water flows, clear, without a single stone to stumble over. Every word stood in its proper place. Every phrase breathed exactly as it should breathe, nothing more and nothing less. In his long life, Hanuman had heard many scholars, many sages. He had heard Surya himself, but no one had ever spoken like this. He stood and listened, and something inside him began to move, slowly, like tectonic plates beneath the ocean floor, silent but irreversible. The stranger said his name was Rama, that he was searching for his wife, that she had been taken by a demon, that they had been walking through the forest for a long time, and the forest gave no answer. Simple words. A common story, the kind of story known to all who have lost something. But in this man's voice, there was no complaint, no weakness, only a quiet, absolute certainty that truth exists, that it is somewhere out there, and that one must go on walking. Hanuman felt something warm move along his spine. It is said that in every Hanuman there lives an echo of that dance, that fire which does not burn but illuminates, that presence older than words. It was there, on that clearing, that this fire remembered itself. This was not surprise, not admiration, not that quick flash you feel when you meet something beautiful or intelligent. This was recognition, as if you had always known this voice, these tones, this silence between words, had known them before you were born, before you had a name. Hanuman went to his knees, not from politeness, not from fear, not because custom demanded it. His body simply found the ground because something inside had become so heavy and so bright at once that there was no reason to stand. He fell at Rama's feet. Rama was silent. Lakshmana stood a little to the side. The forest was also silent, as though the trees had understood something too. Then Rama placed his hand on Hanuman's head, lightly, the way you lay a hand on water without pressing, just touching. What happens in such a moment is difficult to put into words. It is not the love of someone in love, which wants to possess. It is not the admiration of a student, which wants to imitate. It is something without a name, like the smell of rain that you always recognize, though no one taught you that smell. Like the feeling of your own breath, when you suddenly become aware that you are breathing, and it seems like a miracle. Later, much later, people would ask, "How did you know him?" Hanuman would answer simply, "I did not know. I remembered." And if you feel good in this evening, if this voice sounds to you like a quiet path through a forest, you can leave a small sign that you are here. A heart next to the video. A subscription to the channel. It is quiet support, like a small lamp in the dark that someone lights so others can find the way too. Now, let us return to the forest. There, on the clearing in Kishkindha, Hanuman lifted his head and did what no sage, no warrior had ever done. He opened his chest, parted it with his hands like drawing back a curtain. And there, inside, at the very center, where in other beings a heart simply beats, two figures sat, Rama and Sita, living quiet, lit from within. Rama and Lakshmana watched in silence. In that moment, Hanuman understood that all his years of study, all those years before the sun's chariot, all the winds and Vedas, all the knowledge of grammar and poetry had only been preparation. Preparation for this clearing, for this glance, for this silence in which nothing needs to be proven, because everything already is. A tree nearby let fall a leaf. The leaf settled on the ground. The forest went on breathing. Hanuman had found the one for whom he had been born, and soon he would learn what, for his sake, he was capable of doing. The Vanara army stood on the shore, thousands upon thousands, and behind each one was the forest where he was born, the king to whom he had sworn, and a duty heavier than stone. Ahead lay the ocean. It was not a gentle ocean. It roared the way things roar, that know neither mercy nor boundary. Waves broke against the shore and pulled back, indifferent, methodical, like time itself. The horizon dissolved in gray haze, and somewhere out there, 100 yojanas away, lay Lanka, an island that could not be seen, an island that could not be reached. A silence settled in, the kind of silence in which you can hear hope breaking apart. One by one, the Vanara chieftains named their distances aloud. Angada, the brave son of Vali, could leap 90 yojanas. He admitted it honestly, but not 100, and he fell silent. Others named smaller distances. Words dropped into the silence like stones into water. No one could do it. Hanuman sat apart. He watched the waves. He had not once spoken his own distance. Not because he was afraid. He simply did not know. He did not think of himself as one who could leap across an ocean. He thought of himself as a servant, a counselor, one who comes when someone needs to be heard. The gods' gifts lived in him the way fire lives deep in a mountain, not felt from the outside, not drawn forth, not awakened. He simply did not know what was inside him. He had been warned long ago in childhood by those who gave him his name that he would forget, that someone would need to remind him. That someone turned out to be a bear. Jambavan was old as the earth itself is old. In his eyes lived memory from times when gods still walked among mortals without hiding. He had seen much. He knew much. And now he was looking at Hanuman the way a person looks when they see in another what that other cannot see in himself. Jambavan walked over slowly, sat beside him, was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke, quietly, almost to himself, the way one speaks of something obvious, about how the child of wind had risen toward the sun, about how Indra had hurled his vajra, and the vajra had not killed, but hardened him, about how the gods came one by one to the small broken-jawed creature and placed gifts inside him. Strength, immortality, wisdom. About how Vayu, the father, angry and loving, had made him into something that had never existed in any of the worlds before. Hanuman listened. At first, the way you listen to someone else's story, then the way you listen to your own name spoken in a stranger's voice. then the way you listen to something recognized from so deep inside, there are no words for it. Something began to move in him, not muscles, not bones, something else, as if a river flowing underground for a long time had finally found an opening and moved upward, as if fire sleeping in the depths of a mountain remembered that it was fire. Hanuman stood and began to grow. It happened slowly and instantly at once. The earth beneath him contracted. Trees that had seemed tall a moment ago were now at his knees. The Vanaras standing nearby stepped back, not in fear, but in amazement. They looked up from below at someone who had just been a friend, a counselor, an equal, and they saw a mountain, not something that resembled a mountain with shoulders behind which clouds gathered. He raised his arms toward the sky. The wind answered. It always answers when its son calls. The shore rumbled under his feet as Hanuman gathered speed. The air parted. The ocean saw his shadow and swelled upward, the way any body of water swells when something enormous is thrown into it. He leaped, not the way you jump over a stream, not the way you jump over a wall, the way time leaps between ages, in silence, in speed, unstoppably. The earth fell away in one instant. Sky surrounded him on all sides. Below lay the ocean, alive, dark, endless, and he flew above it the way only that which knows its destination flies. But a path across 100 yojanas is not simple. From the depths of the water rose Surasa, mother of serpents, a vast creature with a mouth wider than the sky. She opened it before him. No one passes without entering. Such was her law. Hanuman smiled. He began to grow, and she grew too. He expanded to enormous size, and she opened her jaws still wider. Then he shrank to the size of a thumb, and in one instant flew into her mouth and out again. He bowed to her. Surasa laughed. It had been a test, and he had passed it not with force, but with wit. From the waves rose the mountain Mainaka, beautiful and covered with forests, offering him rest. "Lie on my peaks," she said. you carry so much." Hanuman touched her with his hand, a sign of gratitude. He could not rest. Sita was waiting. He flew because Sita was waiting. That was his only law through that night. Not fear of Ravana, not a hunger for victory, not the glory his return would bring. Simply, she is waiting. She, whom he had never seen, but for whose sake the entire path had been made. Rama, an avatar of Vishnu, who had taken human form to show what it means to love and what it means to search, had sent his heart ahead. And that heart was flying now over dark water. The wind carried him. The wind, his father, his first home, his essence. Below, the ocean roared. Stars reflected in the water. The shore of Lanka was drawing closer, still invisible, but already felt the way the heat of a fire is felt before you see its light. On the other shore, no battle waited for him, only silence, and the small figure of a woman beneath a tree who had nearly given up hope. Lanka received him not with swords, but with silence. A heavy, humid silence that smelled of jasmine and something dark without a name. Hanuman stood on the shore and looked at the city. Lights in windows, laughter, distant and unpleasant. Gilded towers reflected in the night sea. A gleaming capital belonging to one who believed that beauty could be seized by force. He made himself small, shrank the way fire shrinks when air is cut off, down to the size of a cat, the shadow of a cat, and moved forward, along walls, along window ledges, past flowering arches, through the scent of sandalwood and smoke. The demons never looked down. They never looked down. Those certain of their own power stop noticing what is small. Lanka was beautiful. That is important to understand. Ravana was not merely a tyrant. He was a great connoisseur of beauty. The architecture of his city could rival the celestial halls. Every stone had been laid with skill. Every fountain played in a precisely measured rhythm. Gardens overflowed with flowers that never bloom together anywhere else. And yet, something was wrong. Not in the stone, not in the flowers, in the air itself. The way a house can be wrong where behind its beautiful curtains an old fear has been living. Hanuman moved, softly, attentively, listening to the city the way you listen to a sick person, hoping to find among all the noise one quiet sound. And he found it, barely audible, nearly extinguished. A whisper. The Ashoka grove opened before him, not grandly, but unexpectedly, around a bend in a narrow path, past a row of trees whose branches were so tightly woven that the moon could barely pass through them. Here, something was different. Quiet, cool, the smell of earth and leaves untouched by human bustle, and beneath a tree, a figure, a woman. She sat so still, she could have been mistaken for a statue. But her lips were moving. She was whispering a name, again and again, the way you breathe, the way a drowning person reaches upward. Hanuman was still in the branches, watching. Sita had been in captivity a long time. It was visible not in her clothes or in the tiredness of her face, but in something in her posture itself, in the way a person holds themselves when hope has thinned but has not yet vanished entirely. When one name remains, and that name is enough to get through one more night. He opened his hand. The ring fell without a sound. It came to rest beside her foot on the wet earth. She looked at it, picked it up, and from the way her breathing changed, he understood. She recognized it. It was Rama's ring, a sign, the first true sign in all those long months. She did not cry out. She did not call for help. She simply wept, quietly, the way the earth weeps in the first rain after drought. Hanuman could have taken her in his arms right then, could have turned and leaped across the entire ocean with her on his back in a matter of hours. He was strong enough. He knew it, and she knew it, and he could see that she knew. But no, not that way. This had to be done by Rama, not because Hanuman could not do it, because in this story, each person has their place, their role, their path to coming and saving. If Hanuman did it himself, he would take Rama's path from him. He would take the meaning from the story itself. Perhaps this is where the deepest strength lives, in the ability to stop before what you can do, when it is not yours to do. He left the grove without haste, and let himself be caught. Ravana's guards fell on him with triumphant noise, thinking it a victory. They dragged him through the city, through the crowds, through laughter and curious stares. Hanuman did not resist, not because he lacked the means, because the time had not yet come. Ravana sat on his throne the way those sit who have heard only their own echo for too long. Monumental, unmovable. But Hanuman looked at him without fear and without respect, simply looked, steadily, the way you look at something that was once great and has not yet realized it has ceased to be so. Ravana spoke, a command. Burn the tail. Let the monkey burn. It will make a fine spectacle for the court. The tail caught fire, and something happened. Hanuman began to grow, quietly, like a sunrise, first barely noticeable, then unstoppable. The fire meant as punishment became a weapon. He leaped, roof to roof, tower to tower. The gilded rafters caught quickly. Sandalwood burns willingly. The magnificent Lanka, the capital into which the pride of generations had been poured, was turning to ash, not in fury, without triumph, simply as necessity, as an answer, as flame that cleanses a place where fear has lived too long. Then he leaped again, over the walls, over the sea, fire on his tail. And the ocean, which had already received him once, received him again. Water closed over the tail. Silence returned. The fire went out. And there on the shore, the army was waiting. Sometimes you think, what was that? Destruction? Victory? Hanuman was not destroying for destruction's sake. They had set his tail alight. He only allowed the fire to be what fire is. Strength here did not seek a name for itself, did not seek glory. It simply moved toward where its purpose led. Nothing more, nothing less. The one who could have saved Sita in a single night chose to wait, chose to serve not the gesture, but the path, chose to be part of something greater than his own heroic deed. That is harder than leaping across an ocean, much harder. because the ocean is outside and this is inside. But the hardest thing was still ahead, because a moment would come when Hanuman would not need to choose between strength and surrender. He would have to choose between one herb and an entire mountain. The battle on Lanka was unlike anything the earth had known before. There was no beauty in it, nothing like the beauty painted on frescoes. There was dust and blood and roaring that made the palm trees tremble by the shore. Ranks of warriors surged and broke apart like waves striking the same cliff again and again, and each time believing they would break it. And in the middle of it all, one arrow, thin as a needle, fired not randomly, but with precision, aimed at the one everyone loved. Lakshmana fell. Rama stood over his brother, silently. Different people describe his face differently in that moment. Some say it turned to stone. Others say something in him went out, the way a fire goes out when the last log is taken away. Lakshmana was not simply a brother. He was a shadow, a faithful, warm, ever-present shadow. Wherever Rama walked, Lakshmana walked. Without questions, without conditions. Now he lay still, and his chest barely moved. A healer came, looked for a long time, raised his head. There is a herb, the herb Sanjivani. It grows on the mountain Dronagiri in the north, in the Himalayas. The problem is that only someone who knows it can recognize it among thousands of other plants, and only those who have seen it before know it. But none of that is the main thing. The main thing is dawn. If the herb is not here before sunrise, Lakshmana will not live to see the morning. Everyone looked at Hanuman. He nodded, said nothing, simply stood up and rose into the sky, up into the night, where the stars still held darkness in their hands. He flew over the ocean. Below him, the water lay as black as when he had flown in the other direction. Then he had been drawn by the anticipation of a meeting. Now he was carried by something without a name, but familiar to everyone who has ever rushed headlong toward someone in need. The land below changed. coastlines, jungles, plains, rivers, more plains, and then mountains. First, the feeling of them in advance, heavy as the smell of distant snow. Then the peaks themselves, white, sharp, indifferent to everything happening below. Dronagiri, mountain of herbs. Its slopes were alive, everything growing here, breathing, reaching upward. Thousands of plants, thousands of leaves, thousands of scents mixed with the cold mountain air. Hanuman descended, walked among the stems, bent down, looked, smelled, looked again. The Sanjivani herb glows at night, or so they said, but here everything glowed, or nothing did. In the darkness, the slope became one continuous silver shimmer, from frost, from dew, from moonlight scattered across the leaves. He did not know, could not tell, and then he did what fits into no plan, what can be called neither calculation, nor strategy, nor wisdom, in the sense that books love. He stepped back, looked at the mountain whole, wrapped his arms around it, his entire body, every bit of strength the gods had placed in him in childhood, and lifted. The mountain rose. They say that night in the villages at the foot of the Himalayas, people woke not from a crash, not from the shaking of the earth, but from silence, as if something that had always been nearby had disappeared, as if the world had grown slightly lighter, and that was frightening. He flew with the mountain in his hand back south, through the night, through cooling air, through the first blue streaks beginning to show at the eastern edge of the sky. Dawn was following behind him. He was in time. When he descended over Lanka, everything below went still. They watched. The dark silhouette in the sky, the enormous shadow it cast. What was in its hand? A mountain, an entire mountain. Not a blade of grass, not a branch, not a handful of leaves. A mountain. The healer found the needed herb within minutes, crushed it, held it to Lakshmana's face. He opened his eyes, simply opened his eyes, looked upward, saw the sky still dark, almost night, and said nothing, only let someone help him sit. Rama stood beside him, and this time his face is described the same way by everyone, by all who were there, by all who retold it afterward. He wept. Since then, millennia have passed. Much has changed. Languages, borders, the gods people worship, the names they give their children. But one image has remained. Among the millions of images India has created in its long life, one of the most recognizable shows an orange figure in the sky, a mountain raised in one hand. Hanuman, carrying the mountain. It is painted on temple walls, on trucks that drive mountain roads, on amulets worn before an ordeal. Not because he was the strongest, but because he did something everyone understands. When you do not know exactly what is needed, take everything you have. When you love, you do not measure. You do not search for the most suitable thing. You do not look for the exact right words. You simply come with what you have, completely. Perhaps you know that feeling. When someone near you is suffering and you do not know what to say, what to bring, what to do, and all you can do is simply be there, with everything you are, with all your awkward, imprecise, enormous wish to help. That is the mountain in one hand. That is what Hanuman carried through the night. Lakshmana lived. The mountain was returned to its place. Hanuman carried it back and set it down carefully, as if he had only borrowed it briefly. The villages at the foot of the mountain felt the familiar weight return. The world settled back into place. But the battle continued, and ahead lay days when strength ran out in everyone, except one. When at last it was over, and over in victory, Rama would turn to him and say, "Ask whatever you want, everything you can hold, gold, land, glory, a place beside the gods, all of it is yours." But what he asked for was something entirely different, something that would surprise any hero, something no hero before him had ever asked for. Rama stood before him, alive, whole, victorious. The air above Lanka still smelled of smoke and sea salt. The stones of the walls had not yet cooled, but the battle was finished, and the one for whose sake a mountain had been carried, an ocean leaped, for whose sake everything had been done, stood here 2 steps away. Rama looked at Hanuman for a long time, not the way you look at a warrior, the way you look at something hard to name in words. And then he said, "Ask. Whatever you want is yours. I am Rama, who keeps his word, and the word given to you will be kept too." The world stood still. The Vanaras looked at one another. Each of them knew what stood before them. Son of the wind, the one who had carried a mountain, the one who had burned Lanka alone. What reward would such a one take for himself? Perhaps gold. Perhaps a kingdom over Kishkinda. Perhaps a place at Rama's right hand, a place that would have been his by right, because it was hard to imagine anyone more deserving. Hanuman lowered his gaze, not from embarrassment, from something else, from that quiet knowing which does not need to be searched for at length. It is already here, has always been here, like breath. Allow me to serve you, always, as long as there is even one living creature in the world who speaks your name. Allow me to be near them, not above, not equal, near. This was not modesty. This was not the weakness of someone who does not know their own worth. It was something else, something difficult to speak of, yet recognized immediately when you hear it. There are desires that take, and there are desires that give. Hanuman was asking not to stop giving. Rama stepped toward him, embraced him, not the way a king embraces a servant, the way you embrace someone you have finally understood. And that embrace was not described by court poets afterward. It was simply remembered, in silence, in the whole body. Then Sita stepped closer. Her bracelets rang on her wrists, and light shimmered in her dark hair. She removed her pearl necklace and held it out to him. Each pearl was a separate light, heavy and cool, like the first drop of rain before the monsoon. Hanuman took the necklace in his palm, looked at it for a long time. Then he took one pearl between his fingers and crushed it. He examined the fragments, took a second pearl, crushed it too, then a third, a fourth. The courtiers glanced at each other. Someone could no longer hold back. Why? This is a gift from the queen. This is an honor. Why do you destroy what you have been given. Hanuman raised his eyes. In them was neither defensiveness nor offense, only a quiet, almost childlike surprise at the incomprehension of others. I am looking for Rama. In everything, there must be Rama. If he is not in it, I have no need of it. He opened his palm. The white dust of pearls fell to the ground. Again, silence. And then someone, quietly, almost in a whisper, asked, "And in you? Where in you is Rama, Hanuman?" He did not answer in words. He opened his chest, not as metaphor, not as gesture, not as symbol, but opened it the way you open a window to the morning. And there inside, at the very center, where in others something dark and troubled beats, two figures sat, Rama and Sita, together, in a light that needed no kindling. That is what this story is truly about. Not the mountain in one hand, not the crossed ocean. This is what it is about. When you love truly, no emptiness remains inside. Love does not take up space. It becomes the space itself. You may have heard of another guardian of threshold truths, of Ganesha, the one who removes obstacles. One clears the road. The other gives the strength to walk it. Each of them is a separate answer to the same question about what helps a person walk their path. But Hanuman went further than either. He did not simply help someone walk. He became the path itself. He became the one who needs no reward, no recognition, not even memory of himself, as long as the name of the one he loves continues to sound in the world. Perhaps that is the highest freedom, not the kind reached through renouncing everything, and not the kind won by force, but the kind that comes when you understand you no longer need anything from outside, because inside there is everything. It is said that the one who desires nothing for himself, in the end, receives more than anyone. Hanuman did not ask for immortality. He asked to serve. And the gods gave him immortality, not as a gift, as a consequence, as a reflection of what he already was. The pearls lay scattered at his feet. The wind lifted the white dust and carried it to toward the ocean. Somewhere beyond the horizon, a wave still sounded. The very wave he had leaped across. The very wave he had crossed for the sake of one name. And that name still lived in him, not outside, not in words, inside. But Hanuman's story did not end with Rama, because the gods gave him something strange. He could not die, and that meant he would go on living far longer in a world that changes, among people who forget and then remember again. A witness, quiet, unvanishing. Immortality did not come to him as a crown, not as a throne, not as glory sung by poets in the squares. It came quietly, the way morning light comes into a room where someone has been silent for a long time. One day, it simply became clear that he would not leave, that the world still needed him, that the name he carried in his heart would not fall silent as long as a single living creature breathed. In the Indian tradition, there is a particular word, chiranjivi, the long-lived, those who exist until the end of a kalpa, until this great circle of time completes itself and the world folds into silence to be born again. There are 8 such beings. Each carries their own burden or their own blessing. One of them is Hanuman. He did not hide in the mountains, did not go into a cave where there are no voices and no requests. He stayed here, among the living, where the Ramayana is sung or read. He is present, not necessarily visible, not necessarily in a form that is immediately recognized, but here. Stories about this vary. In some places, it is said an old man appeared in a crowd of pilgrims, gray-haired, bent, with a staff of rough wood. He walked slowly, but never tired. Around him, there was a gentle quiet, not the kind that weighs on you, but the kind that settles after a good prayer. Watchful eyes, dark and calm as the surface of a deep well. A barely visible smile that was explained by nothing on the outside. He would approach those who were singing the wrong words, not interrupting, simply standing nearby, listening. Then he would speak a single word, or correct a melody, or simply touch a shoulder. And those he touched would say afterward, that something had changed inside them, as if the words of the prayer had suddenly become not words, but living water. Then they would look around. He was already gone. This is not a fairy tale told to children, so they will not fear the dark. It is a living feeling that passes from hand to hand, from mouth to mouth. There is no one in India who has not heard at least one such story. He came as a monk, as a pilgrim, as a beggar at the temple gates, as a young man who knew the text by heart, as an old man who walked away before anyone could ask him anything. Hanuman's immortality is not a privilege. It is not a gift handed to him as a mark of distinction, the way gold is handed to a winner. It is the continuation of service. Only the service has taken a different form. Before, he carried messages, moved mountains, burned cities. Now he does something else. He remains a living reminder, proof that devotion does not end with the death of the one to whom it was given. As long as Rama's name sounds in the world, Hanuman is needed, because that name requires a witness, one who remembers, who was there on the bridge of stones in the burning city, beneath the tree where Sita sat, one who can say, "This is not a legend. This happened." Think about that. Without hurrying, what does it mean to live inside a story that is larger than you? Not as its author, not as its hero, but as the one who serves it, and in serving it, remains needed for as long as the story itself lasts. Most of us live life searching for our own story, our own name, our own trace. Hanuman chose something different, to become part of another story so completely, so without remainder, that it became his only home. And the strange thing is that this is exactly why he was not forgotten, exactly why he stands in every temple, exactly why his name is spoken before exams, before battle, before a long road. The one who gave himself remained. The one who asked nothing for himself received everything. There is no paradox in this. There is only a quiet, almost unbearable simplicity. When you stop holding on to yourself, you become part of something that does not die. Not because you are great, but because what you serve is great. The elderly wanderer in the crowd of pilgrims walked along a dusty road toward the temple. The sun was already setting. The air smelled of hot earth and flowers brought to the altar that morning. Someone nearby began to hum quietly, almost to themselves. The old man slowed his step, stopped, listened, then smiled. That same barely visible smile, and walked on. When the pilgrim turned around, the road was empty. Was it him? No one knows for certain. But the one who had been humming reached the temple and could not stop all night. The words flowed easily, like water over stones. One of those who encountered him was called Tulsidas, and what happened to him in prison changed the prayer of India forever. Tulsidas knew him, or thought he knew him. He had written about him his entire life. In every verse of the great Ramcharitmanas, in every line he composed in Hindi, so that ordinary people could hear the Ramayana and understand it without Sanskrit, without learned commentaries, without temple priests. He wanted the story of Rama to belong to everyone, to the farmer, to the weaver, to the woman by the well, to the child falling asleep in the light of an oil lamp. And yet he was thrown into prison. 4 centuries ago, a powerful ruler governed India. The court was magnificent, the army vast, and stories of the miracle-working poet had reached the throne. They said Tulsidas healed people, that the dead rose when he spoke Rama's name, that Hanuman himself came to him. The ruler summoned the poet and commanded him, "Perform a miracle, right here, right now. Otherwise, prison or death." Tulsidas answered simply. He knew no miracles. He knew only one name. They locked him away. The cell was dark. Damp ate at the stone. The darkness was thick as cloth. Tulsidas did not weep. He did not call for help. He sat down, closed his eyes, and began to write. In the darkness, on whatever was at hand, with breath instead of ink, he composed verses. 40 verses in Hindi, simple as breathing, addressed to one. The Hanuman Chalisa. Chalisa means 40. 40 stanzas. No more. 40 times he called, the way you call someone who lives nearby. not a god in the heavens, but one who sits in every breath. They say that by morning an army had broken out of the prison, not of people, not of warriors. They came, small, gray, fierce. Monkeys filled the palace courtyards, tore down curtains, overturned lamps, climbed to the rooftops, and cried out the way the wind itself cries out. The guards fled. The court fell into chaos. By dawn, the poet was freed. So the legend says. Whether it is literally true does not matter. What matters is something else. The 40 verses remained, and they proved stronger than any prison. Today, the Hanuman Chalisa is the most widely read prayer in India. Tens of millions know it by heart. The wrestler risen before dawn, the mother rocking a cradle, the student before an exam, the bus driver with a sheet of it pinned above the steering wheel, the elderly person on a train running prayer beads through their fingers and moving their lips in silence. They do not read it because they must. They read it because they are afraid, or in pain, or alone, or the child will not sleep, and there is no other word but this one. When afraid, they read it. When the night stretches too long, they read it. When there seems to be no way out, they read it. Again and again, 40 times in a circle. What happens when they do? The rhythm enters the body before the meaning does, before the mind has had time to think about the words. The words have already passed through the throat, through the chest, through something that lives deeper than thought. Fear does not vanish at once, but it retreats a little. A little more space is freed, enough to breathe. The repetition of a name is the most ancient way to call someone who is not beside you. When you speak a name again and again, the absent one becomes present, not metaphorically, not as comfort, but truly in the body, in the feeling, in the way the quality of the air around you changes. Tulsidas understood this in prison. He did not invent it. He remembered it because it was known long before him. Anjana knew it, praying for years on the mountaintop. Sita knew it, whispering Rama's name beneath the tree in the demon's garden. The Vanaras knew it, chanting his name before the great leap. A name is a thread, thin, but it does not break. The verses of Tulsidas are written in Avadi, a dialect of Hindi, the language of ordinary people, not the Sanskrit of sages, not the court tongue, the language spoken at the market, by the river, in the fields. That too was a choice, conscious, humble. He did not want to ornament the prayer. He wanted to make it accessible, so that anyone who could not read could learn it by hearing it, so that the words would settle into memory on their own, the way the rhythm of a lullaby settles in. And they settled. 4 centuries have passed. Language has changed. The world has changed. Wrestlers from village akharas now listen to music through earphones. Software engineers in glass offices in Bangalore write code. But the 40 verses are the same. They do not grow old, because fear does not grow old. Pain does not grow old. And the need to call someone stronger than yourself does not grow old either. There is a line in the Hanuman Chalisa that says, "Speak the name of Hanuman, and the darkness scatters." Not because the word is magical, but because what we call darkness is above all loneliness, and a word addressed to one who hears is already light. Perhaps that is the real miracle the ruler demanded. Tulsidas performed it, just not the way anyone expected. There are places in India where this prayer is read with particular force, not in grand temples with marble floors and gilded domes. In other places, where the smell is of sweat and earth, where the floor is packed dirt, the walls are smoke darkened, and on the wall there is one and only one image, always the same one. An akhara is an earthen arena, not marble, not wood, earth itself, red, packed to the hardness of stone by generations of feet. Such places exist across India. Small courtyards beside temples, half-open halls that smell of sweat, mustard oil, and dawn. This is where one of the oldest traditions in the land live, wrestling, which is called kushti. Kushti is not sport in the modern sense. It is a path, like that of a samurai or a monk. Only its instrument is the living body planted in red clay. the wrestlers arrive before light, when the sky is still darker than blue. They warm up in silence. They rub themselves with oil. They enter the earth with bare feet, and the earth receives them the way it receives seeds. On the wall of the arena, there is always the same image, an orange figure, burning gaze, mountain in hand. This is Hanuman. Before practice begins, everyone stands before him. The prayer is read in unison, quietly, like a single shared breath. The words are those same 40 verses Tulsidas wrote in his prison cell. The voices weave together, rise to the smoke-darkened ceiling, and dissolve there, along with the smell of the oil lamp. Why him? Why not Shiva, not Brahma, not other gods far more magnificent? Because in him there is vajra in the body, because it was he that Indra struck with lightning, and he survived. He was not broken, he was tempered. What remains in metal after the blow of a hammer remained in him forever. Resilience, a ringing clarity, life inside hardness. Every wrestler in the Akara knows this story. The child who reached for the sun, the lightning that broke his jaw, the gods who came to ask forgiveness, and the gifts that rained down on him, strength, wisdom, immortality, invincibility, all of it placed into one body, not because the body itself was precious, but because that body knew how to serve. The wrestlers lower themselves to the red earth and begin their exercises. Again and again, hands sink into the clay up to the wrists. Muscles burn. The dawn slowly fills the doorway with light. Someone counts sets aloud. Others are silent. Silence here is more familiar than words. There is something that seems like a contradiction in this tradition. People who could break a bone, people whose bodies have been polished by thousands of hours of work, and yet a prayer the most tender of the devoted. Hanuman, who kissed the dust at Rama's feet. Hanuman, who wept upon hearing his name. But it is precisely Hanuman and no one else who reconciles this contradiction. He reconciles it simply by existing. He shows that there is no gap between strength and tenderness, between the warrior and the bhakta, the one who loves. His body was capable of destroying an army, moving a mountain, burning a city, and that same body fell prostrate before an ordinary man, a king without a kingdom, a wanderer in a forest, because in that man lived a light that Hanuman could see. This is what the wrestlers in the akhara see when they look at his image. Not only strength, the purity of strength, strength that has a direction, strength that has a master, not the wrestler himself, but something greater to which the wrestler dedicates himself. The Kushti tradition has strict rules. The wrestler observes celibacy, especially during the training period. He rises early. He watches what he eats. He learns from a teacher called an ustad. He respects his opponent in the bout and helps him rise after a fall. Victory here does not humiliate. It tests. A body made hard by discipline, but not rigid. Flexible, but not weak. You look at an experienced wrestler and understand this is not decoration. This is an instrument dedicated to something the wrestler himself might not be able to put into words. The smell of mustard oil is thick. It is worked into the skin, into the joints, into the palms. The oil keeps the cold from gripping the body in the early morning draft. It absorbs slowly, like a prayer. The arena at this hour resembles something between combat and meditation. The movements are repeated. They become ritual. The ritual becomes knowledge stored not in the head, but in the flesh itself. They say a true wrestler enters the arena to win, but leaves it to become better. That is a fine distinction. The entire difference between strength as master and strength as servant. Hanuman could have remained a master, could have given nothing to anyone, could have taken for himself the most beautiful fate of all possible fates. His gifts were absolute. His body was invincible. His mind was sharper than any blade. He could have been without error, could have been without defeat, could have ruled. Instead, he chose the clay at another's feet. And that is exactly why the wrestlers in the akhara pray to him, not to become stronger than their opponent, but so that strength will not become a prison, so that the ability to win will not take away the ability to bow. Dawn enters the arena in slanting light. the red earth turns redder still. Sweat gleams on backs. The prayer went quiet long ago, but its sound seems to linger still in the corners, in the breath, in the rhythm of the movements. And yet, the greatest strength of Hanuman lies not in his fists, not in his ability to carry mountains or leap across oceans. It lies in his choice, never once in his endless life, to use that strength for himself. Not once, not a single time. Strength that is chosen not for oneself is a different kind of strength. It does not shout. It does not demand recognition. It simply stands, quiet, like a stone that holds up a mountain. And perhaps it is with this knowledge that it is right to return to where everything began, to that temple, to that night. It is late now. The lights of Arati burned out long ago. The last coals in the copper bowls are filmed with gray ash. The smell of sandalwood smoke has become very faint, barely perceptible, like the memory of smoke rather than the smoke itself. The bells are silent. Only the wind barely touches the curtain at the entrance. The last pilgrim has gone. Her footsteps faded somewhere on the stone steps, bare feet on warm earth, and again silence. The temple is alone, or almost alone. Against the wall stands a stone figure, orange, wrapped in a dried garland. In one hand, a mountain, not a burden, not a weight, simply a mountain, familiar, carried the way one carries something that long ago became part of you. The face is calm, not triumphant, not proud, simply calm. Look at it. Without hurrying, simply look. Here it has stood for thousands of years. In different villages, in different forms, cut from black stone in one place, made of red clay in another, cast in metal, covered with centuries of gold leaf in a third, but always the same, mountain in hand, tail behind, gaze toward where Rama is. And there is not one ornament he wears for his own sake, not one victory he remembers with pleasure, not one deed performed for the sake of his own name. He could have become a king. Sugriva offered him the throne. He could have become a god among gods. They had given him all their powers while he was still a child. He could have desired. He could have demanded. He had everything required in order to want. But one thing was entirely absent in him. That place inside where desires for oneself live. In its place, one name, Rama. It filled what in other people is filled with fear, with ambition, with loneliness. Think about that, not as religion, simply as a possibility. What if strength is not something you accumulate, but something you give? What if becoming more does not mean taking more, but means giving to where it is most needed? What if the strongest is the one who lifted a mountain for another and then quietly set it back down and asked for nothing in return? Every loving heart knows this, not with the mind, but with the heart. When you love truly, you do not grow smaller, you grow larger. The space inside expands. What once seemed impossible enters it. Hanuman, through service, surpassed even those he served. Not because he wanted to surpass them, but because love itself expands the one who loves. That is its nature. That is why the gods do not forget him. That is why they themselves come to his temples. That is why a mother whose child is ill whispers his name rather than the names of those who govern the worlds. Because he showed them all, everyone who watched, who listened, who read, what it means to love truly, without conditions, without limit, without stop. Outside, the night has become completely dark. The moon has risen above the trees. Somewhere far away, a cricket calls. Warm air barely moves. That very wind that was always near him, the wind that was his father, the wind that still breathes. And in this breath, something, not words, not instruction, simply presence, the feeling that you are not entirely alone in this dark night, that there is something nearby that does not tire, that does not sleep. Hanuman is one of the Chiranjeevi, the long-lived. He will not die as long as his name sounds in the world. As long as someone whispers a prayer in the darkness, as long as someone carries their mountain and asks nothing in return. Perhaps you are lying here now, carrying something too. something of your own, invisible, heavy, something carried inside when no one sees. Let this night receive it. You do not need to carry it alone in the dark. Put it down, just for a time. Put it down and rest. The stone figure stands by the wall. The lights have gone out. The smell of smoke has grown very quiet. Somewhere, a last little bell is ringing, perhaps from the wind, perhaps from nothing at all. And you are here, and the night is here, and the silence is here. Sleep peacefully. May the one who never sleeps watch over you. Next time, we will set out down a different road, not toward where strength is needed, toward where a song is enough, about those who found the divine not in great deeds, but in singing, about the path of love that in India is called bhakti, about those who wept from joy and laughed from pain, and in that found freedom. But that is for another time. For now, only silence, only breath, only peace.